Oh, I'm sorry, my hearing's not good. I thought you said you had I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now, you still? Yeah. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. They're ready. There's no way. I know. I just so we're not. I kept. That last year, they asked me if I would come to Iowa Station. Long time ago, I think it was and I, of course, I think I know y'all have probably seen all that video. No, the out front is the water line. And we dug it up enough to find the leak. It was on that sidewalk from the house is where the leak was. So my son actually got that fixed, but I thought, while Rory does some digging, we'll have that place. So we'll have trouble in the future. But right now, we at least got water back. I know I had to, yeah, put in with the digs okay. That call before we did, that call before we dig, they don't want you getting any utility lines. And I knew where the current line was there, because I went in and did it anyway. Then they wanted to know how long the period is. And I just put down a month thinking I would have plenty of time for these hot days. I told myself I'd have good enough. I'm trying to dig it in my hand. And I'm gonna have to extend it, I guess. My grandson's not going to lose it. And there out back where I was digging, that was the old drain. It wasn't going to septic tank, so it's like that would be something just kitchen sink. If that pipe was over the gas, then they
We'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council regular voting meeting for tonight, which is Monday, June the 17th, 2024. So I'll call this meeting to order, and our invocation will be done by the Reverend Brian Berryhill of Heritage Baptist Church. After that, our invocation will have our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller. Please stand for the invocation.
Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, we come to you again tonight, thankful for another opportunity to call on your name. Thankful that we live in a place, a community where we can still open up with a word of prayer. Lord, we ask you, Lord, to watch over our nation, be with all of our leaders here in the community and all abroad. And I just ask you, Lord, that you be with us through this meeting. And Lord, that your hand of protection, your hand of guidance, Lord, to give each and every city council member and all the community the right things. I ask you to go with us now as we go our separate ways. In Jesus' name we humbly pray. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the pledge, and Pastor Berryhill, we appreciate the invocation and prayer over us before we start our meeting. I'll go over a few announcements and presentations for us. We do not have any proclamations this evening, so I'll just read the rules for the meeting, and then we will get into the meat of why we're here. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm mayor of the city of Douglasville. I'd like to welcome you to this Douglasville City Council meeting. This is a voting meeting. It'll be held a little differently than it was last Thursday, which was our legislative work session. Tonight, we will vote on the items that were discussed last Thursday. And if you have any concerns or comments that's not listed as one of the agenda items to be taken up, you can certainly come up after the end of the meeting and talk to us about any business that is germane to the city of Douglasville. So if the business that you're not listed for as an agenda item under comments and citizens for citizens and delegates, that's the area where you can come up and talk to us after the meeting. You have 5 minutes to do that. A few protocol issues I'd like to bring to your attention is that we would ask that you please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level dealing with the facts that are important for us to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. So we ask that you would please not call out individual names or groups of individuals. Just present all of your comments and concerns to the chairperson. Only one person speaking at a time, and please do not applaud or react to speakers or speak to the audience when you're at the podium. We ask that you please come to the podium, make your comments to the chairperson, and then we will make our decisions after that. We are only required to accept public comments during public hearings. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, we ask that you please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting so they will not be disruptive. The agenda items will be handled in the following manner. The committee chairperson will read that agenda item. Then that person representing that agenda item or applicant will make his or her presentation. We ask that you would just bring new information to us that was not covered last week if you have any new information, and not to repeat yourselves. Myself and council members will possibly ask clarifying questions before we vote, but this is a voting meeting. If there is a public hearing, the comments, you have 20 minutes for those in favor and 20 minutes for those in opposition to each item, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Prior to coming to the podium, we ask that you please fill out a speaker card. They're outside on the desk. You fill that card out and hand it to our city clerk, Ms. Vicki Acker, to my right, and she will give that information to us. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record, and then you can proceed with your comments. This is not a question and answer or debate format. We're just here to hear the information, deliberate, and make our decisions. That's a whole lot of talking, a lot of information. Hopefully we're all on the same page and we can move on with the agenda. There are paper agendas. If you'd like to have one of those outside on the desk, you can pick one of those up, and or you can follow us on the screen that's above us. So now we will move with the agenda that is printed. And the next item is approval of the minutes. So I will open the floor for a motion for the adoption of the regular meeting agenda for June 17th, 2024.
So moved.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. I have a motion to approve this adoption of the agenda items. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Miller. N, it's been probably moved and second to, for the adoption of the regular meeting agenda for June 17th, 2024. Thank you. When you get older, you need these glasses. I forgot my glasses. So that's item 24-171. So it's been properly moved and second to approve this item. Do we have any comments, questions, or concerns before we take up the vote? If not, all those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The adoption of the regular meeting agenda for tonight has been approved. Now I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting. So the minutes of May 30th, 2024 special meeting, which was a budget hearing for 2024-2025, adoption, our legislative work session, and minutes of June 3rd, 2024, which were committee meetings, executive session, and regular meetings. So we had a lot of meetings, the meetings of May 30th and June 3rd, 2024. So I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been a motion to approve. Is there a second, please? Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. It's been properly moved and second to approve agenda item 24-177. Do we see any corrections, concerns, or any corrections to the minutes, deletions, anything? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Item 24-177 is unanimously approved. Now we're moving on to item number 7, which is the consent agenda. I will open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. You're on a roll. So you have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. I think we had dueling seconds. Who do we have, Ms. Acker? You couldn't hear. It's either Councilman Watts or Councilman Miller in. Who pushed the button? Oh, Councilmember Miller. So it's been properly moved and second. Moved by Councilmember Estes and second by Councilmember Miller in to approve the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do we have any concerns, questions, comments? Any corrections? No. Okay, all those in favor of approving item 24-197, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. So now we'll move on. The consent agenda is done. We'll move on to Economic Development Committee, and that is chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And we have one
You're
item
welcome.
carryover from Thursday on the Economic Development Committee agenda, which
Yes,
is
sir.
to consider and adopt a resolution approving the inclusion of Hammer Real Estate's capital project in the city's revised 2020 tax plan to acquire, construct, and equip a life science fulfillment facility located in the city of Douglasville, Georgia, and approving the execution and delivery of a proposed tax incentives agreement pertaining to Hammer Real Estate LLC's capital project. Mr. Chris Pumphrey, if you would like to add anything further from the information you provided on Thursday, now's your chance.
Thank you all once again for having us here this evening. Chris Pumphrey, Development Authority of Douglas County, 8512 Bowden Street, Douglasville. As was mentioned on Thursday evening, this is a life science healthcare distribution facility that is looking to come to Douglasville. An interesting note that we did not discuss on Thursday night is we actually have been working on this project for a few years now. We actually thought we concluded the project last year in an unincorporated site right down Fairburn Road, but unfortunately the company decided to pull back on that site because of increased costs. The property that they were choosing, it had about $30 million of horizontal development costs, and the costs were continuing to rise. And they just couldn't justify going back to their board once again. So they actually opened up their search to look back at the same locations that they had looked before. And fortunately, they came back to one of the original sites that we had proposed. We actually proposed this site 3 years ago when we were first introduced to this project. And we actually thought this was the site they were going to choose, but they chose the much more expensive location. And so they actually came back to the one we actually thought they should have chosen in the first place. So we're grateful that they are here. And so glad to be back here this evening. One thing of note, with this property tax incentive plan, this is a part of our pre-approved property tax incentive plan. It is a 10-year plan. It's based on the number of jobs, the capital investment, and the wages that they are being paid. The unique scenario in this particular project is because of it being a pharmaceutical project and the nature of the inventory that they have to carry. They carry a significant amount of inventory that is subject to taxation. And so the equivalency of what they might be abated on the real estate and the equipment that they are investing in, they're actually paying that in inventory tax. So on an annual basis, they are paying $2 million a year in inventory taxes. So just assume over that 10-year period, they're paying $20 million in inventory taxes alongside of the property tax incentive that they're receiving, and then they start to pay property taxes on the real estate and the equipment that they've invested in. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Pumphrey. And yeah, I think it needs to be understood that the tax abatement system that is used is just that. It's a system. It's not arbitrary. It's not, oh, we really want these guys, and we're going to push the numbers a little bit here and there. It's all based on a very specifically calculated matrix, is my understanding. So
Yes, that's correct.
So it's not, there's nothing arbitrary about how the numbers are derived. I'll open the door open the floor at this point to anyone who would like to comment or have any questions. And I'll start this end. All right, Madam Mayor, I'll start with you and then go from that end and come back.
I don't have any, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Let's go to Councilwoman Hudson. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you. Chris actually answered the question that I had specifically.
He does that a lot. It's one of his superpowers.
Foresight.
Councilwoman Miller.
So funny. I actually did have a few questions, which you also just answered my questions as well. So thank you very much.
See what I mean? Councilman Watts, do you have any?
I think when some of our citizens react to this type of project, you know, the tax abatement, maybe sometimes we miss part of the fact that, and Chris pointed it out, the large inventory that will be subject to tax, I think is significant in this kind of project. I know some people apparently have worried a lot about truck traffic, but I think what I heard the other night sounded like it's not going to be as much. It's not going to be all big trucks. It's going to be a mixture. But thank you for clarifying a few things for us, Chris. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Watts. To this end, Councilwoman Danley? No? Councilman Estes? Councilman Davis? Okay. All right, well, yeah, and one final note to point out, I think that Chris discussed it briefly, but I think it's important to reiterate, is that this is a pharmaceutical industry facility, which we don't have, as far as I understand, in Douglasville or Douglas County. So it's, but this is a good foot in the door. I mean, you know, while there won't be scientists in the back room, you know, working on formulas and chemicals, I mean, this is how you expand on a particular industry that you're targeting. So we appreciate that being brought to us. So at this time, unless there's any other questions or comments, I'd like to place item 24-198 in the form of a motion for approval.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. It's been properly moved in second, moved by the chair, Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller, and second by Councilmember Samuel Davis to approve item 24-2000. That is not correct. 24-198. Yes. Oh, that's another one. 24-198. Do we have any other comments or questions, concerns as it relates to this item? Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-198 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That is all we have under the Economic Development Committee.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you, Mr. Pumphrey. We appreciate you coming with the explanation. We'll move on then to the next item, which is item number 9, Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in finance.
Thank you so much, sir. Housing and Community Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Housing and Community Affairs Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. Item 11, Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business at this time under the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Personnel and Organization Committee, we volley back to you, Councilmember Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We also have no business in the Personnel and Organization Committee tonight.
Thank you, sir. Okay, there is business under item 13, Planning and Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
So we do have a couple of items this evening. Our first is item number 24-196. That is to consider a request for exemption plat approval for the purpose of splitting a 1.737 acre tract from the larger tract of 53.59 acres at 1521 Lee Road and land lots 719, 720, 721, 722 in District 18, Section 2, parcel ID 071918200005. Application by Mr. Patel, and Mr. James Gordon is down here to go over this item with us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. James Gordon, 6695 Church Street. And I have nothing further to add from what Mr. Marcus Thompson had given on Thursday evening.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. So just for frame of reference, this is the corner of I-20 and Lee Road where the apartments are being built, and that small little sliver that I believe previously, maybe a long time ago, was a gas station to, in the
Yes.
future, be a gas station again. Okay. Council, did you guys have any questions or comments regarding this item? No. With that being said, then I make a motion that we approve item number 24-196.
Thank you so much. Madam Chair has made a motion. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved and second, moved by the Chair, Councilmember Miller, and second by Councilmember Estes to approve item 24-196. The Chair has already asked if we had any questions or concerns, but if any have come in the next couple seconds, you can voice them now. If not, all those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-196 is unanimously approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Oh, that's not dated one too. Okay, our next item is item 24-194. That is to consider proposed ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance to allow front and rear garage placement on residential structures in the R5 Single-Family Cottage Residential District. And Ms. Shayla Reed is down here to go over this item with us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Shayla
evening.
Reed, Community Development Director, 6695 Church Street. After speaking with you all on last week, we've received more direction for this item, and so staff will be asking for it to be tabled into your July 11th and 15th meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Council, did you guys have any questions or comments then? Are you guys okay with tabling this to July 11th and 15th? Okay, thank you, Ms. Reed. With that being said then, I make a motion that we table item 24-194 to the meetings of July 11th and 15th.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I have a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We had dueling seconds. Who do we get, Ms. Acker? Mr. Estes. It's been properly moved and second, moved by the Chair, Councilmember Miller, and second by Councilmember Estes to table item 24-194 to the meetings of July 11th and 15th, 2024. Do we have any concerns or comments as it relates to this item? I don't see any. All those in favor of tabling this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? The ayes have it. 24-194 is tabled to the meetings of July 11th and 15th, 2024.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving along, hold on. Okay, our next item is item 24-193. And that is to consider a request for a change in zoning from R2, single-family residential detached, sorry, keep having pop-ups,
It's coming up.
to R5, single-family cottage residential district for 33.26 acres located at the intersection of Campbellton Street and I-20 and land lot 22, District 1, Section 5, parcel IDs 0022015C014, 0022015C015, 0022015C016, 0022015C018, 0022015C076, 0022015C07, 0022015C088, 0022015C089, and Land Lot 23, District 1, Section 5, parcel ID 002301500024, application by Trayton Homes. And Ms. Shayla Reed is down here to go over this item with us as well.
Thank you. This action as well, the applicant is aware of our desires to table the previous item to the 11th and 15th, and they as well are asking to have this item tabled to the 11th and 15th. They are available for any additional questions as well as myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. Okay, with that being said, council, are you guys all okay with us tabling this item to the meetings round of July 11th and 15th? Okay. July, I hope. We've already passed June. We're halfway to Christmas, folks. All right. Yeah, so with that being said, guys, I make a motion that we table item 24-193 to the meetings of July 11th and 15th.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I have a motion to table. May I have a second, please? Second. Thank you, Councilman Watts. It's been properly moved and second to table items 24-193 to the July 11th and 15th meetings of 2024. Do we have any additional comments, concerns, questions, anything as relates to this item? From council? I don't see any. All those in favor of tabling, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-193 is tabled to the meetings of July 11th and 15th, 2024. Good evening.
All right. Yes, we have one more item, and that is item 24-200. That is to consider, to consider a request for variance from Section 8.01E of the Unified Development Ordinance to reduce the required parking spaces from 236 to 167 parking spaces on a land lot of 17.9 acres at 7701 Staples Drive in land lot 714, District 18, Section 2, parcel ID 0714-182-0001. Application by LBA Realty in care of Dillard Sellers, and Ms. Shayla Reed is down here to go over this item with us as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again. Nothing has changed from this request. The applicant has requested a parking variance reduction of 69 parking spaces, and that remains as last week.
Thank you for that. Council, did you guys have questions concerning this item? I know we went over it quite in detail last Thursday. No? Okay. If you guys are all okay with it, then I make a motion that we approve item 24-200.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved in second to approve item 24-200. Do we have any other concerns or comments before we take the vote? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 24-200 has been unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
That is all that we had this evening for planning and development.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and thank you to staff, Mr. Gordon and Ms. Reed, for helping us and the applicants. We'll move on then to item 14, which is Public Improvement and Beautification Committee. That's also chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening for public improvement and beautification.
Thank you, ma'am. Public Relations Committee is chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No business at this time, thanks.
You're welcome. Public Safety Committee chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight under public safety.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight, Recreation, Culture, and Tourism.
Thank you, sir. Technology Committee chaired by Councilmember Elena Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Technology Committee this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Transportation Committee chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No business tonight under transportation.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman.
You're welcome.
Any other business to come before council tonight from the elected officials? I'll open the floor for any announcements or any concerns or anything you have. No? Well, we have GMA coming up this week, so
Madam
everyone
Mayor,
be
I'm
very
sorry.
careful.
I have a question,
Yes,
just
ma'am.
not related to anything on the agenda. Just the unfortunate fire last week, and I've spoken to one of my council members. the fire hydrant, from my understanding, was not working over in the area. So I just wanted to know, was that the apartment's responsibility, or is it the responsibility of the fire chief or WSA, whom? It bothered me that when they went over and there was no water. I mean, it just brought memories back to me. I know that happened when our family, we lost our home. So I'm just wondering, whose responsibility is that?
Thank you so much, Dr. Burt Danley, for bringing that up. And I actually caused a fire when I was 9 years old, trying to cook when my parents went to the park. I was going to cook dinner, and so I've been through a fire before, so I understand it's devastating, and we lost everything as well. But I did talk with the fire chief. That fire is still under investigation, but there were private hydrants that weren't working. The public hydrant did work on Chicago Avenue, but the one that is attached to the apartment complex did not work. And there's a third-party vendor that deals with those. And a lot of commercial buildings and apartment complexes do have personal fire hydrants.
Right.
So, so the chief will give us a full investigation, but I met with him again today, and he said it was inspected in December, and it was up to the apartment complex to keep those fire hydrants full, and they were not. So, but they did put as much as they could out based on the hydrant on Chicago.
Okay, and that was the information my colleague and I discussed, and I did mention I would bring it up tonight. So thank you, I'll be awaiting them.
You're welcome. And I know we have a link, the city manager, something was sent out for an employee that lives
Right.
in that apartment complex that works for the city that we
Yes,
can
ma'am.
give to.
Yes,
And I think Red Cross was on scene as well.
Right. And I
But she'll
did
give
get-
us an update.
Yeah, and I've been involved with that too, and I did get the information, but thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other announcements or any concerns? Well, I understand that we wanted to thank the employees for, we had to do a special consideration for a festival that we had this past weekend for Juneteenth. And so we thank staff and Mr. Roberts and Director Bass and everyone who pulled together to help that event to go off on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So thank you so much. And thank you for the council being willing to work with us and Ms. Miranda and our legal for getting the contract together. So we appreciate that, and it was held, I understand, this past weekend. The other thing is, we're going to our Georgia Municipal Association Conference that's held every year in Savannah, and each year we have parade of cities, the parade of flags, and all the cities come together and walk down and show their flag for each city that they have. And so this year, I'm nominating Miss Elena Hudson. She's the freshman council member to carry the city of Douglasville's flag during the parade. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And secondly, and I think this is in that same meeting, it's like a big meeting. The CEO comes on the stage, and they invite everyone to come to the conference that's there. And there are hundreds of council members and mayors from all across the state of Georgia, municipalities with clerks and all of that. And everyone's quiet for just a few minutes to hear the national anthem being sang. And this year, Dr. Burt Danley is going to sing the national anthem for the state of Georgia. Yeah, so you're going to do a great job. So we just want to congratulate you and make certain that we're on the front row supporting her. She's going to sing the national anthem. Can you believe that? It's on Sunday. Yes, sir. You will not pass the microphone. So we're just really proud of you. We're so excited. Let's give her a hand for having that honor.
Thank you, Ms. Hampton. Thank you, I'm honored. And thank you, Ms. Hampton.
Yes. Yes, the city of Douglasville's community relations is doing all the filming, so we'll make certain we do that, and we can play it over and over again so the citizens can see you singing. All right, so I think that's all the announcements that I had. So we'll move on then to updates from our city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business.
Thank you, Mr. Dotson. Staff attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
No business, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Our police department deputy chief, J.R. Davison.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Good to see you, Deputy Chief. Our city manager, Ms. Marcia Hampton.
The only thing I had is Mr. Chris Bass has an announcement about July 4th fireworks, and he also has a question for you all dealing with fireworks.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good evening, Chris Bass,
Good evening.
8830 Gurley Road, Parks Recreation Director.
As you all know, we host our annual fireworks show every July 4th. Fireworks are shot from West Pines, from the viewing public. The residents can watch from Arbor Place Mall and some other surrounding locations. We are excited about hosting that fireworks show again this year. However, there is one small change. So we've had an added benefit for our employees to have a front row seat to our fireworks show over at West Pines. However, now due to some challenges with other fireworks shows, there were some accidents in other places where the permitting and as far as proximity, how close we can be to the fireworks has changed. So we can no longer host our employees at West Pines like we have done in the past. However, we've worked it out with our vendor to provide a separate show on July 4th at the town green. So we were able to work that out. However, looking at all of the plans, and the city manager spoke last week of how we are, our employees having to tap into overtime and to try to pull some of these events off. My ask is that instead of doing 2 fireworks shows on July 4th, if we could move the fireworks show at the town green to July 3rd, which is in conjunction with Wednesday Wind Down, and then we'll be able to cater to our employees and have a celebration there, similar to how we do with the concerts in the VIP section, for the employees to be able to watch with their families, and still have our July 4th show from West Pines for the viewing public.
I think that's a great recommendation. So let me get this in my brain right. So we'll do the 4th of July parade, where we always have all these wonderful floats and our grand marshal and all of that. And Councilman Adams and his wife have the best golf cart that they bring in. But so we have July 4th parade, and then that evening we'll have fireworks on the town green for families. No?
No.
Okay,
So
tell me
we'll
again.
still have fireworks that evening on July 4th. However, the change is more so for the employees.
Oh, so
The
July
employees can't come to
3rd.
West Pines anymore
Okay,
because of the permitting, with how close we were. That show will still go off, so the viewing public will still be able to go to Arbor Place Mall on July 4th.
I see.
Right now, we have 2 shows going off on July 4th. My ask is for us to move the show on the town green to Wednesday Wind Down. So it's an added benefit to that July 3rd Wednesday Wind Down, similar to how we did Gladys Night. As soon as that last act goes off the show, we can shoot fireworks, and we'll have a show that way as well.
But the employees will have a special,
And the employees will have a
We'll
special
honor them.
opportunity for us
Okay.
to, yep.
as long as they feel like, because that's something that they look forward to, and I think we need to give to them.
And that will
Show
help.
appreciation.
Yes, ma'am, and that will help us on manpower, so we wouldn't have to be running around on July 4th, and we'll already be at the town green
Yes, sir.
to shoot
On the
that show.
3rd. Okay, that works for everyone? That's your committee, Coach. Is it good? Parks.
Yeah.
If that's the way it's gotta be, that's the way it's gotta be.
Okay.
And so the permit, just, I was just curious, so that's a state thing or local thing?
Well, the vendor, when they submitted their application to the fire department, in terms of proximity, their fallout zone, they expanded that because there was an accident somewhere else to where wind got up under the firework. And if you've been there before, you know how close we are so they didn't want to risk it. So when they sent their application in for their permit, they expanded their fallout zone. So it would literally be where we would be sitting at, and they don't want to, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. Yes, sir, Councilman Davis?
Yes, also, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Bass, and no one mentioned it yet, but Wednesday is Juneteenth celebration, June 19th, and Mr. Bass and I, we've been talking, and that's Wednesday Wind Down also. So Juneteenth and Wednesday Wind Down will be compelled on Wednesday. Great celebration.
This coming Wednesday, yes, sir. Do we have any other comments about the fireworks?
Everybody's good with what Mr. Bass is going to do for the 3rd and the 4th?
I believe so. Need some thumbs up.
Cost, having 2 shows.
This is a small show. If you remember the Gladys Night show, the fallout zone isn't as high, so that's a very minimum cost. So the vendor was able to work that in so that our employees could still be able to take advantage of that. So it's not a budgetary impact at all.
Okay, good.
All right,
Any
so that's
other-
what you all said, just didn't want you all surprised with 2 fireworks shows, to make certain you understood what we were doing.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would work with Mr. Post as well to make sure we get that communication out so that everyone knows where we'll have those shows set up.
All right, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bass, Director Bass. Any other comments? Okay, so if not, then, City Manager, that's all you had for us? Thank you, ma'am. It's come now to the meeting, or item number 22, comments from citizens and delegates. If you'd like to speak to us, please come to the microphone and give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to talk to myself and council members. We don't have any takers. Okay, we don't have any other business to come before council tonight. This meeting is adjourned.